Hello, my name's John Keslick, and it's May 17th, 2009. I'd like to speak to you a little bit about the cherry tree, Sergeant Cherry, that was planted too deep, that we just went over with the videos. When a tree is planted too deep, the exudates increase, and the tree is placed in a predisposition for the rest of its life, lending itself to insects, fungi, bacteria. And then the industry spends time, money, and efforts treating signs of problems, treating and killing secondary agents. We are required to make some adjustments to our treatments. Now, that tree was planted, it was moved in the nursery, it was planted deeper in the nursery, and then it was brought out to the job and planted a little bit deep then, in addition to it being planted too deep in the nursery. So I dug down about 5-6 inches, and I did not find where the woody roots were coming off the trunk. Now, normally in a tree, you're going to come down the trunk and you're going to have a flare at the base of the trunk. We call that a trunk flare because it's made up of primarily trunk tissues. It has the characteristics of stem. Very often, people in the tree care industry that are so-called tree experts call that area the root flare. Obviously, they've never dissected trees. Anatomy must precede physiology. I cannot imagine how someone is going to understand and treat diseases, infestations, infections, and what have you, without an understanding of the anatomy of the plant that they're working with. So that's trunk tissue. Just below the trunk flare, you're going to have an area that's new. We call that area there the root collar. The root collar is the transition zone between woody root and woody stem. What is below the root collar is the woody root. Now, the proper planting depth is just allowing the root collar to be slightly under soil line. The trunk flare should be above ground. Now, what we had there, the soil line was here. The roots from down here were growing upward and growing towards the trunk. The deeper I dug, the bigger the woody roots got that were circling the trunk. That is going to eventually cut off the vascular transport system, transporting water and elements from the roots towards the leaves and moving food, photosynthate, products of photosynthesis, which is plant food, tree food, moves towards the root system. And that is disrupted when the trees are girdled. It's setting a predisposition where the tree will decline for the rest of its life. Insects, fungi, and bacteria will get the blame. Efforts will take place to get rid of insects, get rid of the signs. The insects and the fungi and the bacteria, they're the cleanup crew. They're secondary agents. The primary problem for this tree is that the tree is planted too deep. Now, the cambium electrical resistance for that tree was 17.7. To me, that's extremely high. meaning that the tree has very little vitality. Meaning that for me to, one treatment that could be done for that tree is to dig the tree back up, remove the soil to the bottom of the trunk flare where the woody roots are coming off the trunk, pruning the girdling roots, and planting the tree at the proper depth. However, with a CER, cambium electrical resistance, of 17.7, I can't help that tree. The vitality's too low. So what would be nice is, because I don't think that tree's going to make it much longer, is you contact the nursery and tell them that the tree needs to be replaced, and that you would like the tree that replaces it to be planted correctly. That you would like the tree to be planted at the depth that the woody roots come off the trunk, not any deeper. That you would like to have the woody roots pruned so that you stimulate new root growth in new spatial positions. Wiring the hose, that's torture. To me, I consider that torture of trees. Trees do not move in the sense that they don't go to the store and buy bags of plant food. They don't run from danger. But they're constantly moving in place. That's why we suggest staking with broad belt-like flexible material which will allow the tree to sway. So, money's wasted when trees are planted too deep. Planting the tree deep will set a predisposition for the entire low quality life of that tree for insects, fungi, and bacteria. As the tree begins to die and people come and examine it and they see insects or they see fungi,